Hey everybody, how's it going today? It is me, Captain Edgy, and today we are taking a look at the circuit tracks in conjunction with a Yamaha CS2X. I just got this CS2X from the Manchester Music Mill up in Manchester, New Hampshire, and they sent me this thing real quick. I bought it off of Reverb. They gave me a great deal on it. They had no reason to. That was just a regular customer. They don't know anything about me. I had a great experience. I just wanted to share with you guys. Buying this thing was pretty much a dream for buying used gear. Came packaged real well. Came exactly as detailed, no surprises. It works perfect. And I talked to Paul a little bit there. I texted back and forth with him, and he was a pleasure to deal with. This is not sponsored. I just wanted to share a good location for used gear if you're in the New England area. Anyway, so here we are, taking a look at how this works. I had a subscriber ask about using external gear to create sequences on the circuit tracks and playing back those sequences from the circuit tracks to their external gear. Now, we already know how to basically use this. I think if you've got a circuit tracks, you know how to use it to create your patterns here with the little keyboard built in. But did you know that you can actually use an external keyboard with this? There's a couple caveats here I'll explain, but you can use an external keyboard to play your circuit tracks and get better control than with these little pads in some cases. I mean, the pads are great. Don't get me wrong. I like the pads, and I especially like them when I take these with me traveling because it gives me a full keyboard basically without having to bring a full keyboard with me. I have a synthesizer, a keyboard, MIDI controller, everything right in one little unit. And then I bring a notebook with me and I have the rest of my synthesizer, VST type stuff on there. And I can do whatever I want at that point. But in some cases, these can be a little limiting to play. You only have 2 octaves. They're on top of each other. Sometimes you just want the feel of real keyboard. So if I wanted to create a pattern here with this, I could go ahead and basically just hit record. Let's really channel 2 first over here. So what you need to do on your keyboard is turn local off so that it's not transmitting the sound out of the keyboard when you play it. And then you want to change your transmit channel to either channel 1, 2, 3, or 4. Channel 1 and 2 are synth 1 and 2. 3 is MIDI 1, and 4 is MIDI 2. I kind of wish these were flipped just because it would make a little more sense with channel 1 and 2, but I guess it makes sense to also have the synths up front because they actually make sounds, and if you got this and started playing with the first 2 and nothing happened, you'd be a little concerned, I think. So here we go. That's the sound I have on channel 2. All right, so we're going to make a little bass line quick. Let's do something real simple. I'm going to hit record. There we go. Now, I'm going to stop recording for a second. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to change the transmit channel on my keyboard to channel 1. All right. So now change that to channel 1. We were on 2. Now we're on channel 1. I'm going to go over here and change this to channel 1. I don't have to. I can record channel 1 without seeing it, but I like to see it. It's more of a preference thing there. Okay. So now we've got a little loop going on there. Let's go to channel 3, which is MIDI channel 1. And now we're going to actually work with the CS2X, which right now, you can hear it playing something, but you're thinking that's not the right sound. That's because it's set to play on channel 2. What we need to do is we need to put it on to transmit to channel 3. And now it's transmitting its notes here, but you won't hear anything because local is turned off, and it can't do through. It's not going through. So if we want to hear it, what we need to do is re-enable local on this device by just turning on local right there. And now we should I'm going to double up that pattern so we have a little more room to play there. Record. And there we go. Now I noticed I made a little mistake and hit 2 notes there. See that? You can see them both. So when you're in this mode, even though it's not one of the synthesizers that's built in here, we can still edit the same way. So I'm going to go right here, hit this, and delete the note that I don't want. that's how that works. I can add notes too. So if I wanted to go... So now if I play this... And now that's how you play the music off of an external synthesizer. You set the synthesizer to channel 3 or to channel 4, and it will receive channel 3 or 4 from here. Transmitting, if you want to hear the synthesizer, you want to be sure that local is on. If you're not trying to hear the synthesizer because you're working on one of the built-in synths or you're working on another synthesizer, you want to be sure local is off on your controller keyboard. One other caveat is the drum scenario. See, normally we'd be able to go drums and make some nice little loop here. But you can hear this weird noise in the background. Sounds like a side stick on a conga or something. There's a conga or bongo. What's going on there is the drum channels here are transmitting on channel 10. So they're spitting their notes out. Even though I don't want them to, they're still transmitting their notes out to the CS2X, which has an instrument on channel 10, which is a drum kit. So it's kind of bumping into each other. And because of that, we've got a little situation with notes basically crashing into eeach other. We don't want that. Unfortunately, because the CS2X is a multi-timbral instrument, well, not unfortunately, because I love that it's multi-timbral, but because it's a multi-timbral instrument, not a mono or single timbral instrument, unitimbral, I guess, would probably be the right word. Basically, one instrument on one keyboard, like my AN1X, for example. If I had that over here instead of the CS2X, that'd be fine because it only receives one channel. I could have two of those and set one to channel 3, one to channel 4, and they would play on their own individually and be perfect. But because the CS2X has 16 channels of MIDI that it can receive, the 10th channel kind of bumps into the other ones here. Now, ways around that would be to use a DAW and tell the Yamaha CS2X to in a patch that you would set up, or a program that you would set up where you configured all your instruments, you could tell it channel 10 set the volume to 0, and on the CS2X that would set the volume to 0, and then when you played it, even though the instruments were playing, you wouldn't hear them. That's a workaround right there. That's one. There are other ways to go about it, but that's kind of the easiest one. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. And if the CS2X was, like I said, monotimbral, unitimbral, I would have been all set. You wouldn't have noticed anything because it would have been perfect. The other thing is that you need to be on the right channel transmitting and receiving. And because there is no through on the out, you need to have, when you go to play on the channel you want to hear, so channel 3 in this case, the CS2X was on channel 3, I needed to turn local back on so I could hear it and play it. You'll be fine. You don't need to change back to local on. But if you want to hear what you're playing, turn local back on and then turn it back off when you're done so it doesn't get in the way with other stuff later on. And that is pretty much the whole tutorial. If anyone else has any more questions about this, hit me up in the comments. If you like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. Tell everyone, and I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, you can hit my coffee link up. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you all in the next one. Be safe. Bye for now.